Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about the kingdom Protista. The organisms that come under Protista are unicellular. Their body is made up of single cell and they are eukaryotes. What are eukaryotes? Eukaryotes are the organisms that have well-defined nucleus and they have nuclear membrane and they have membrane-bound cell organelles. And the boundaries of this kingdom Protista are not well defined. What does it mean? See, what may be a photosynthetic protistan to one biologist may be a plant to another. Consider an organism. That organism will be considered as a photosynthetic protistan by one biologist, but another biologist, he will consider this as a plant. So, the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. The kingdom Protista, it includes the following 5 groups: chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. All these 5 groups come under Protista. Let us see the general characteristics of the kingdom Protista. The organisms that come under Protista are aquatic and they are eukaryotes. You know what are eukaryotes? And they reproduce asexually as well as sexually. By sexual reproduction, the two cells, they fuse together and they form zygote. These are the general characteristics of the kingdom Protista. Now we will study all the groups one by one. First of all, let us study chrysophytes. Examples for chrysophytes group are diatoms and golden algae. So these chrysophytes, they include diatoms and golden algae. These golden algae are desmids. They are found in freshwater as well as in marine environments. They are microscopic and they float passively in water currents. They are planktons. Most of them are photosynthetic. In diatoms, the cell walls form 2 thin overlapping shells. The cell walls form 2 thin overlapping shells which fit together as in a soap box. And the walls are embedded with silica and thus walls are indestructible. We cannot destroy the walls of these diatoms and they are very strong. Thus, diatoms, they have left behind large amount of cell wall deposits in their habitat. This accumulation over billions of years is referred to as diatomaceous earth. The remainings of this cell wall of the diatoms, they deposit on seabeds and those deposits are known as diatomaceous earth. Being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. And since they are photosynthetic, diatoms are the chief producers in the ocean. So, these diatoms and golden algae, they live in fresh water as well as in marine water. They are microscopic and they are the planktons and they are photosynthetic. And these diatoms, they form diatomaceous earth, the deposits of the cell wall. The cell wall form 2 thin overlapping shells which fit together as in a soap box. And then the soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups, and they are the chief producers in the ocean. Our next group is dinoflagellates. We'll study about dinoflagellates. These dinoflagellates are marine and they are photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending on the pigments present in their cells. They contain pigments of different colors. Yellow color pigments, green, brown, blue or red color pigments. Their cell wall has stiff cellulose plates. Cellulose plates are there on the outer surface. Most of them have two flagella. One lies longitudinally and the other transversely in a furrow between the wall plates. Very often, red dinoflagellates, they undergo rapid multiplication. And they make the sea appear red. And that is known as red tides. I think some 3-4 months back in newspaper you might have read the news. The sea appears red near the seashore in Chennai. I think in Chennai 2-3 months back. This was due to the rapid multiplication of this Goniolax, red flagellates. Next group is euglenoids. These euglenoids, they are found in fresh water and also they contain a protein-rich layer in place of cell wall. This protein-rich layer is known as pellicle, and due to the presence of this pellicle, the body of the euglenoids are flexible. Due to the presence of protein-rich layer, the pellicle, the body of the euglenoids are flexible. They also contain two flagella, a short one and a long one. They are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight. If there is availability of sunlight, they photosynthesize. But in the absence of sunlight, they are heterotrophs. They predate on other small organisms. And then they have pigments that are found like the pigments that are found in higher plants. The examples for euglenoids are euglena. So euglenoids are freshwater organisms and they have pellicle and they have two flagella, and in the presence of sunlight they are photosynthetic, in the absence of sunlight they are heterotrophs, and their pigment is like the pigments that are present in higher plants. And example for euglenoids is euglena. And then the next group is slime molds. Now shall we study about the slime molds? They are saprophytic protists and they form aggregation. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium. All these slime molds, they aggregate together and they form plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. Under unfavorable conditions, this plasmodium, it differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. These spores, they contain true walls and they are extremely resistant and survive for many years. And these spores are dispersed by air current. So these slime molds are saprophytic and they aggregate to form plasmodium, and this plasmodium they form fruiting bodies with spores, and the spores, they have cell wall and the spores survive for many years. Shall we move on to the next group? That is protozoans. Protozoans are heterotrophs. All the protozoans are heterotrophs. They may be predators. That means they feed on other organisms, or may be parasites. And they are believed to be the primitive relatives of animals. They are believed to be the primitive relatives of animals. Protozoans include these 4 groups. What are these 4 groups? Amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, and sporozoans. We'll study all these protozoans one by one. First, shall we discuss about amoeboid protozoans? These amoeboid protozoans live in fresh water, or in seawater, or in moist soil. And they move with the help of pseudopodia, and also they capture their food with the help of pseudopodia. Example, a well-known example is amoeba. And some are parasites. The example for parasitic amoeboid parasite is entamoeba. Entamoeba histolytica. It causes amoebic dysentery. The next group is flagellated protozoans. Flagellated protozoans, the name itself shows that they have flagella. They are free living and are parasites. This parasite, well-known parasite, that is trypanosoma, that causes sleeping sickness, comes under flagellated protozoan. Contains flagella. And the next group is ciliated protozoans. The ciliated protozoans are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. The cilia helps them to move in water. And they have a cavity called gullet, and it opens outside. The well-known example for ciliated protozoan is Paramecium. The next protozoan group is sporozoans. Organisms that have spore-like stage in their life cycle come under sporozoans. Example is Plasmodium, which causes malaria. So protozoans have 5 groups: amoeboid protozoan, amoeboid protozoan, flagellated protozoan, ciliated protozoan, and sporozoans. So today we studied about the kingdom Protista. Protista includes 5 groups: chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. And then for chrysophytes, the examples are diatoms and golden algae. And for dinoflagellates, gonialax, and euglenoids, euglena, and then slime molds. And the next one, protozoans. Protozoans include 4 groups. They are amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and sporozoans. Next class, we will study about kingdom fungi. Thank you, students.